Guys, you know what? We're living on a creepy, gangster, creepy planet. And for the life of me, I don't know what's going on. So when I was starting out in corporate South Africa, we were trained quite a bit in marketing this term called subliminal messaging, and it's basically flash images being sent in your general direction in order to convince you in your subconscious, unbeknownst to yourself, to basically follow after something. They do it a lot in advertising to inspire you to purchase more and more and more, eat more and more and more. It's on pamphlets, it is on billboards, it is on television, etc. Well, I, for the life of me, never imagined that this level of indoctrination by fire by force would reach a height of demonic worship the way that it is right now. I'm all happy to have Coca-Cola subliminally message me to buy more Coke than I can stomach for my diet plan. But I, for the life of me, cannot take it when, Satan, when basically those who worship the devil, alright, when devil worshippers are telling me to worship their God. That's another thing altogether. There is this one guy, Isaiah Robin, who discovered, and he did a video about it, The Weeknd, flashing Satan in the background of some concert that he did, and the word Satan just kind of, appeared there ever so, briefly and disappeared again. That is a form of subliminal messaging. So if you keep on associating, it's called a paired stimulus. If you keep on associating cues, devilish cues, satanic cues with wealth, fame, prosperity, popularity, at some point you will incline towards wanting those things for yourselves. So the purpose of subliminally flashing you with Satan at a concert of a very heavily influential musician that came from poverty and now he's super wealthy is to make you believe that because he gave his life to Satan, he is now cool, and this is what happens to you when you give your life over to such structures as these. Okay, you know what? Whoever recruited The Weeknd into the darkness, do you fly into the dark, proverbial anti-sunset as much as you want. But when then you are doing that on a global scale to people that aren't even interested in becoming celebrities, just trying to be, under the radar, doing life as normal every day, they one day want to just be some grandmother, nothing much. When you make them satanic, when you convert them into the devil, we are dealing with another dynamic altogether. These are the last days. It is very, very overt. It's clear in everybody's face, but everything is being earmarked and it's culminating towards the mark of the beast, you guys. And how it is that people are going to be made nice and ripe for that season to enter into their lives is that they will have been conditioned unto it all along. All right. If you are excellent at keeping your diet plan going together as a thing and you've been on a lifestyle, eating right, and you're not you're not a junk eater, you regulate your sugar intake, your salt intake, etc. When somebody just tells you to gobble McDonald's 10 days in a row, you're going to look at them like they're weird. They're trying to make you vomit, what's going on? However, if they gradually introduce McDonald's to you, just one little nugget a day for a month, they will develop in you a habit of just gobbling nuggets. And so increase your intake of nuggets until ultimately you are a McDonald's fan, and you're well on your way to obesity, albeit having had a history of being fit. It is basic principles established in behavioral conditioning. 21 days is the set amount of time that it takes for a person to develop a habit or to drop it. So if they can train your mind to subliminally accept more and more heinous things over time, however incrementally, you will at some point wake up and realize that, oh my goodness, the fit girl now one day waking up overweight. How did this happen? It took time, but they made you bite one little piece at a time. Alrighty, well, I'm 38, and in all of my years, I have witnessed what would be the declining tact on television to show people whatever under heaven they want to show. You could have tuned into a television show that was a PG-13, and literally a full frontal of genitalia will be shown you, or even PG-16. Back in the day, a rated 16 television show involved so much hard, it was what would be the tantamount of basically bordering on a pornographic sex scene. You would never find it in a 16 show. ever. Like, we talking petting, kissing, maybe even very heavily groping one another, but nobody got to see any breasts, nobody got to see any buttocks, nobody got to see any actual genitalia. Well, there is a show that I watched featuring, like, whose lead actress is Jennifer Aniston, and I believe it's called Office Party, Office Party, or something of that nature. I watched it about a couple of years ago, imagining that, like, nothing hectic is gonna go on, and, well, we got to see a man's genitals, like a full-on, like, penis was in everybody's face, and I was out of my mind shocked. I was taken aback. I did not expect to see that in that show. Well, recently I opened a Twitter page for fitness, and I've been following a whole bunch of fitness people, and Twitter started to recommend there for fit people. Guys, if I could, like, I don't even know, I'm literally scared to go into my Twitter for fitness. I've got a Twitter for the gospel, and I've never seen this on Twitter, but the one for the fitness, I am scared to go in there and scroll down my timeline, lest I should see literally a man's genitalia popping out of his pants, obviously with all of the dimensions and the, like, sculpting of it that you can see. And this person is claiming to just be flexing his muscles because he's a gym bunny. However, what he's doing is showing you the kinds of stuff that you would find only on a porn site. And this is on Twitter. YouTube would highly unlikely allow that to be broadcast. Facebook tends to moderate things that you upload, especially in videos, but pics tend to just go on right ahead. You know, they can just get uploaded and nothing goes gets too badly checked. They tend to check videos mostly on Facebook, but on YouTube you wouldn't be able to get away with putting your genitalia in front of everybody just like that. And on Facebook there is some level of moderation, but I recently discovered that Twitter has no such moderation. How do we get to a point where non-XXX sites have got XXX content on them? How do we get to a point where social media platforms that are there for family usage have every so often got pornographic content that will take days to bring down, if at all? Society has been desensitized to gazing upon naked bodies. It's exactly what happened with Adam and Eve in the garden. Do you guys understand? The individuals, the dudes were naked, didn't recognize they were, and until they ate the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, and then they noticed that they were naked, and so they therefore recognized the appropriateness of getting dressed from that point forward. Well, ever since Adam and Eve, we have basically magnified in intensity as to the depth of wickedness that we can see. We are like ones that had a light version of the knowledge of good and evil, and now we have graduated to loftier versions of sorry, I'm phlegmy, loftier versions of good and evil, in that we could once upon a time, gaze, like in the, let's say, gaze upon a woman's cleavage. Now it's nothing at all to see the actual nipples. We could once upon a time gaze upon a man's six-pack. Now it's nothing at all to see the outline of his genitalia through his pants, his bulge, not even a bulge that you would see through like a whole pant that there's nothing you can do about it, but as in you can literally draw his genitalia the way that you would see when he's naked just by what it is that he's wearing on the day. All right, that is what it is that we have been made to accept as appropriate. So now XXX sites are reserved for just for basically vaginal penetrative sex, but everything else goes and is considered appropriate for viewing at the movies, on Netflix, on YouTube, and these days on Twitter. It is literally the next best thing to what do you call this? A XXX site. I don't even know what the rules on Twitter are. Ever since Elon Musk got it, I thought life would be a little bit better because it opened for freedom of expression, but I feel as if those things are going to go worse precisely because of him loosening the rules and everything. Plus, can't really trust Elon too much because he is innovating what looks very eerily similar to what would be the mark of the beast. All that stuff has gradually ramped up over very many years. I'm 38. I started out in my youth, I guess, being able to gaze upon certain television shows. Now I'm scared. Like, to just so much as click a preview on Netflix, I'm nervous as to what under heaven it is that they might just show me. So now that you have been explained to how bad things have gotten and how much they are conditioning an entire global citizenship to become more and more willing to take in their eyesight like nefarious content, look at this video over here that I am currently recording. It is basically a part 2 to the previous content that I did. All right. This one, it says, it appears the all-seeing eye is now a god for social media. In this video, I was speaking about how it is that I've just discovered that YouTube's captions or subtitles are heralding and they are worshipping the all-seeing eye. They have made it capital letters. They have called it, they basically have made it a noun. So they are allotting it the status of a deity. And this is something that is artificial intelligence generated. Do you understand? So AI is doing this on behalf of YouTube. So it has been instructed to basically worship Satan. Now, as I'm reading the captions in this new upload, I am beside myself with horror and with shock as to the full extent of how much this robot is a devil worshipper pushing subliminal messages down people's throats. Now, if you continue to see something being represented as the bigger deity than the rest of them, you will ultimately worship it. All right? Listen up. Jesus Christ is considered a deity, according to this artificial intelligence software. So he is therefore spelt with a capital J. So too would Buddha or Allah or any other of the gods that many of the world religions have subscribed to date. However, so you can understand that we are headed towards worshipping Satan and him only in this one world religion that mainstream media is proliferating. You get to see, guys, in this video alone, the captions of YouTube basically saying, who is the one true God? Out of Allah, out of Jesus, out of Buddha, out of basically all of them. YouTube is telling people, subliminally messaging them through captions. Do you understand? That the all-seeing eye, or this Phoenician religion, this Egyptian religion, this thing that you see on the global scale with Sam Smith and Beyonce and everybody just like flailing this like one-eye symbolism, this rubbish over here. I even went on Canva to create a nice little, side-by-side with the YouTube logo and the all-seeing eye, how it is that the YouTube just so happens to have flipped it over the other side. It might look like a play button, but nothing is just coincidental. Okay, that is the thumbnail for the previous video that I did. I'm going to do another thumbnail for this one that I'm doing to show you just the comparisons. I'm busy reading the captions. It takes a little bit of a minute, perhaps like 20 minutes to 40 to 30 minutes for YouTube to finally do the full captions for the video, and finally mine are available. And as I'm reading, I noticed indeed Jesus' name is in capital letters. So too is all-seeing eye. As you can see, there's a dash between the all-seeing and then I. Yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, that's what I discovered in the last video. Nothing special over there. Do you understand? Well, guys, I personally, when I type any article on Jesus, like I have a blog where I write, I always refer to his pronouns like him and he are always in capital letters. Like I will spell the H-E of Jesus with a capital letter H and the H-I-M of Jesus with a capital H, right? God the Father is always for me. Father, the Father is a capital F. That's just how I acknowledge him. And when I use the word Lord, when I type the word Lord, I type all of it in the tetragrammaton or whatever. The full, big, chunky, all of it, L-O-R-D is in capital letters out of just reverence for my king. So basically my own, not artificial, but natural intelligence has regarded Christ, the one true God, the one way to the Father, as God. And so therefore my own internal intelligence, capital letters, much of him, including his pronouns. Well, this software, right, that YouTube uses to transcribe, that is artificial intelligence, and it is, of course, a machine learning artificial intelligence. So over time, this has basically become an evil little AI bot that is human-like and about to take us over like the ones in AI robot, Will Smith. All right, listen up, you guys. It only acknowledges all-seeing eye or seeing eye pronouns in capital letters. Only the all-seeing eye. But Jesus, it's a him with a lowercase h. And while I don't really mention, I haven't gotten to the parts where I'm talking about Allah here, but I don't know if they acknowledge Allah with a capital H or a small one. But what you need to understand is that all religions are going to be thrown out of the door with the one world religious system. The world has an invested interest. Do you understand? They have a vested interest in blocking this, in preventing it, in complaining. It is being shoved down our throats. If you still want to worship your own God, and no matter how stubborn you might be towards the one true God, the gospel, you will fight this. Even Muslims' God is not regarded with a capital H by YouTube. They are shoving this down Muslims, Mormons, Christians, whatever your religion, atheists' throat. This is what is being subliminally messaged to you. So ultimately, everybody will join this one world religion. And when that happens, everybody's going to take the mark of the beast, and y'all are going to find yourself in the eternal lake of fire, in the abyss. You're like, there's a lot of trouble that we're walking at. And I'm very revivalist in my message. I know that the rapture is near. I know that the Lord is going to come and grab us any minute now, but I am really very greatly hopeful for rather a revival, that the world might have a little bit more time to have some grandchildren. I really, really desperately long for that, because I've got family members that are all just in the darkness. They are lost, and yet they think they're going to heaven. So for those reasons, I am more revivalist than I am rapture-y, even though my life sucks. My life sucks. I would much rather go to heaven right now rather than later. But for the sake of the lost, I am like, okay, guys, you know what? We need to fight. So if at all you still care for your religious freedoms, and you don't want to have to be placed on a platform that is going to thwart the message of your particular religion in favor of this one like fake religion, okay? If you don't want to be squelched as a Muslim, squelched as a Hindu, squelched as a Christian in your growth on YouTube, you will boycott this, because this is an affront against all religions that are not this funny little all-seeing eye religion. It is an affront to us all. They are trying to retrain us all. And this is a social media platform that is, for the life of me, so ubiquitously used by everybody who puts all of their content on here. I'm even nervous that YouTube is going to stop allowing me to use captions, because I'm noticing that their AI is basically Satan. It's being trained to worship Satan, and it is pushing subliminal messages of Satan down people's throats. This machine is basically saying, fine, I will acknowledge your God. I'm not going to go and tell you don't worship your God. You can keep him. I don't care. But understand that there is only one God, and this is the God. And eventually, a subliminal messaging works. Don't you lie. That's why it continues to get used to this day. Paired stimulus, a trained response. A conditioned response. It's like what Pavlov's dogs, if at all you have studied classical conditioning or even operant conditioning, it's like what, but more like classical. We are like Pavlov's dogs. We are made to salivate at the ticking of a metronome. And after some time, when they remove the meat, do you understand, the conditioned stimulus, we will then have an automatically conditioned response. Even the paired stimulus, we will automatically have a conditioned response in that we will salivate even in the absence of there being meat, meaning that we will ultimately all just agree that the all-seeing eye and this God, whatever is this religion of Beyonce and Jay-Z, this silly little religion, perhaps it's the Lima, do what thou wilt, this is the whole of the law, we will subliminally just gaze upon it as the default religion, and the rest of us are just kind of playing games out here in these streets with our respective gods. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, Christ is the only way, guys. He's the only way and the truth and the life. But no Christian is going to go and subliminally message that down your throat and force you to take it. We give the gospel. If you don't want to listen, we dust our feet off, and we just move on to the next town and the next and the next and the next until the gospel has reached all of the world. What they're doing here is using all of their gargantuan technological resources to dumb down the whole world and indoctrinate us all. And in the same way that one day you're watching a PG-rated show and you still see genitalia, whereas that would never have been a thing that you saw in 1997, in 2001, well, you're about to basically have played in your mosques as Muslims, in your churches as Christians, satanic mantras that have nothing to do with your religion, and that is only simply because you have been made to gradually just accept this over time. This is all headed for the one world religion. I get it. It must happen. It must fulfill Bible prophecy. But if we can tarry it, guys, if we can delay it, if we can basically delay what would be the tantamount of inevitable, we get to save a lot more people for Jesus. I am happy to continue to evangelize, and I would much rather have the Muslim guy rather wake up to recognize that Christ is king instead of him end up worshipping Satan because they lulled him to sleep better. Rather, I'd much rather have more time to fight for the Muslim to come to Jesus than for the Muslim to capitulate to Satan, because understand that's exactly what's going to eventually end up happening. And if anybody at all still values their brains and do not want to continue to get cajoled into some wicked, nefarious, increasing in intensity and diabolicalism system, you will fight. You will stand, guys, against this. Anyway, I have already been speaking for 19 minutes, a tad too long. I can be loquacious. Anybody who knows me knows that that's true. So I just want to show you the proof. Here it is that we're looking at an upload of mine. These are YouTube captions. This is not me. You can test it on your own. Upload some silly video where you're speaking a whole bunch of stuff about all-seeing eye and eye of Horus or whatever, and then upload it to YouTube and see what the captions say. It will literally prove it. And then speak about your God, speak about Allah, speak about Buddha, and then speak of Buddha's of Buddha in his what do they call this, pronouns, and see if they capitalize the pronouns of Buddha versus the pronouns of All Seeing Eye, and you will notice who it is that YouTube has clearly elevated above all deities. This is an assault on all world religions by a social media platform that we all like blindly just trust. We have got to stand our ground, either move to rumble or make YouTube just stop shoving these things down everybody's throats. If at all they just want to be fair and equal and everybody balanced out, let all the pronouns of all the gods be in lowercase and then the names of these gods in uppercase. Otherwise, if you're going to only give uppercase pronouns to one particular god, you are shoving a religion down our throats. Watch this. I'm going to play to you from the I'm going to play to you guys from the beginning of the video. Only up to this 1 minute 27 mark. I'm not going to show you all of it. So you can see all the rubbish that basically happening upon Lana. I'm sorry to have to use my phone. My computer's very slow, so if I try to screen capture, if I try to record my screen, it would only freeze and I would not get the content. So I'm using my bad quality phone, but it's still getting the message across. Okay guys, I want to show you just how wicked this world is. I just keep on happening upon these things and they are throwing me off my chair. Okay, so herein lies Proverbs 20:12. It is written, the hearing ear and the seeing eye. There you see it. Seeing eye, capital S, capital E. Hath made even both of them. Right? So that's the Lord hath made both of them. The L of the Lord is in capital letters. Rightly so, in being fair, I would have made it all capital letters, but this is their captioning system. Scriptures. Now, where in my Faceless YouTube channel we have that, please go follow me. I just uploaded this video, okay, there, and I have got a discovery all up in my grill. So I use YouTube captions because I am wary of putting in my own captions. It's taking forever and a day to transcribe, and my other softwares just don't do the job for me. So I'm testing the YouTube subtitles to see if they do me any good. And yes, indeed, they are better than most, but look at how they spell seeing eye. That they hear. Okay, so I said in my previous video, perhaps maybe when you hear seeing eye, that's in capital letters. No, they leave seeing eye alone. So it turns out that you have to say all seeing eye or seeing E-I-E. I don't know. I don't know why this time around they made it seeing eye in small letters, but it does not always happen that way. But you're about to discover something. Ear and the seeing eye both. There it is. The hearing ear and the seeing eye. And you know what, guys, this is ridiculous. It's like right next, this is a scripture. It's just so much, it's so much blasphemy. Like the last seeing eye is just in small caps, and now it is in big because it's a scripture. It's Proverbs 20:12. From the Lord. This is the whole sentence. Please look at it. Okay, let me move a little bit further ahead. And the scriptures also make it clear that the hearing ear and the seeing eye both of. See that in both. So the video playing in the background that I'm recording in this video made it a capital letter. This video that I'm recording now also made it capital letters. People. My goodness, like that's what I'm saying. Okay, like guys, no, it's again, y'all need to understand that Jesus is a whole thing, and the world is a whole antagonist against him. And look, him. The hymn of Jesus is a small H-I-M. Do you see that? The hymn of Jesus is a small H-I-M. They did not make it big. And yet the system was happy to make the all-seeing eyes H-I-M a capital letter. Scriptures are obviously clear. They have made a god out of this Egyptian-derived being called the all-seeing eye. So much so do they worship him. Look at that. Worship him. H-I-M in capital letters. Like the what do you call this? The AI gets that. It gets that. It is able to comprehend that almost like a sentient being. Stream media that they have seen it fit to give him a noun descriptive. It's small there. Characteristic, that's a better word. A noun that is characteristic of human beings, which are spelled with a capital letter, your name, that is. I mean, even the word human is spelled with a small h, but then Karabo, who I am, spelled with a capital K. It is a whole being in the same way that they acknowledge Buddha as God or Allah as God. All these other world religions that do not save, all in the interests of let's not dishonor anybody, right? They even spell, of course, Jesus with a capital J, God, capital, G. I'm talking it up. A storm over here. Look at that. The G of God, they made it a big G after the word sorry. So the ubiquitous term God is acknowledged, and it is followed prior to it was God, capital, sorry. See, I coughed it up a storm there. And then it's still acknowledged a capital G. It's sentient enough to recognize that. Even after I coughed, it figured out that they should spell God with a capital G. Even though I had broken off from the last time I spoke about God for some seconds now. And there was a cough in the middle, but it still made it a capital G. I said capital G, and it still made it exactly that. Whereas, okay, let's just move on. A storm over here. God with a capital G. Now they have gone on right ahead to grab seeing eye. If at all I have said all seeing eye, likely the A. Well, this time around they did not acknowledge it as such, but that's only because they recognized the I over there as basically I am Karabo. All right, as opposed to EYE, the I. If it had gauged EYE, it would have made a capital S and a capital E. Guys, I'm not going to replay this whole video because you can find it on my timeline, but this is what's going on. They are retraining the whole planet to worship Satan. Now, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? A whole bunch of people that are being allowed to just run rampant and amok on YouTube are with channels that should essentially be brought down. All right, YouTube claimed that profanity is going to cause a whole bunch of people's channels to be demonetized, except there are some channels that are still running that are very heavily profane, especially comedy channels that are still getting their ad revenue. They are not impartial. They are doing strange things to people, and they're saying, worship us, honor us, or else. They first told people or helped people make a whole bunch of money on this platform, and now that they've basically grabbed their knickers in a bunch using money, they are forcing them to take the mark of the beast proverbially, or else. Worship our rules, our God, and what he has to say about what you have to say on our platform, or bugger off. We don't care to pay you. There is a brother of mine that I spoke about in one of my videos on my Face channel, where you see me, who, his name is Franchot Pearson. He started another YouTube channel called Franchot Blue because he wants to monetize that channel. He's already sitting on 8,000 subscribers, and I would imagine he long ago reached his 4,000 watch hours, and yet they have yet to monetize that second channel. I remember just thinking, you're wasting your time starting a new YouTube channel, because I've been starting YouTube channels for a minute now, over and over and over again. Even this one with 18 subscribers, I started it because YouTube refused to let me grow. It is you that they're targeting. It is and what's sad is that it's not even so much human beings that have mastered the art of targeting random people on social media. It's a robot, and I know that this robot is operating not just on YouTube, but it is all across all these social media platforms. They are literally training them to be wicked against people that don't stand with a particular agenda, especially religious groups, those who are truth channels. For instance, I have been deplatformed altogether as Karabo on 2 fitness platforms, on TikTok and on Instagram. They suspended my accounts without letting me know why. And the content that I upload there is very mild, guys. I do fitness content, but I don't do nakedness. I don't even show a cleavage, for crying out loud. Because I'm a Christian, I have to be modest about it while trying to get fit. And Instagram brought down that whole channel, deplatformed me altogether. So too did TikTok. Why would they do that to me on a secular channel? It is because they know me. It's like the software has got understanding of maybe, okay, so in the fitness channels, I don't speak, but I definitely have a face that they can recognize. It's likely linked to facial recognition, voice recognition, alongside, just style of doing things, like or niche, you know. Are you speaking about the gospel? Is it a truth channel? Are you a conspiracy theorist? What are you? And then they automatically thwart you. However, if they really have it in on you for you, like if they put you on some strange ominous list, then on that day you're not even going to be able to make money using a secular channel, like, you know, giving people advice on wealth management, giving people advice on nutrition, giving people advice on fitness. You can't even do a secular channel. I have had 2 fitness platforms deplatformed for no reason at all, and I'm not even going to what is this on TikTok? It's even worse. Even on Instagram, they have not even sent me an email to let me know I've been suspended. I can what do you call this thing? appeal. They haven't even given me an option to appeal. It's almost as if though this robot, it brings down certain people without even the option to appeal. I imagine I'm not the only person that has experienced this challenge, guys. I can't be the only person who has had an entire social media platform brought down with no option for appeal. That is me on both Instagram and TikTok. Literally, I cannot find the email at all in my inbox. I cannot find the email telling me I am deplatformed. I only find out when I try to log on, and then I get this big fat chunky pop-up that tells me you are suspended. So, if at all, artificial intelligence is already training people to worship Satan, and it is leaving true fervent Christians out of the door altogether from even making money in a secular platform on the internet, we are headed for a revolution unto the devil in the absence of repentance and concerted prayer. We're going to get taken over. We're literally going to get cooed. My hope is that this has been edifying to you and that you will do something about it. Nobody listens to my content. It's sad. Nobody listens to my content. It's really sad, because if people did, there might actually be some kind of a prospect for, a revival. There might be more people that have got like a little bit, imagine a Christian version of Me Too. Like, I'm going through this, or a truth channel version of Me Too. But, I don't know, maybe some of these messages, you're only going to listen to them after the rapture of the church of the Lord Jesus Christ has happened. And all you will say to yourselves is, oh my goodness, but they saw it. She said it. She spoke. And yet no one listened. All the best, guys. Good night.